10B, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract for the Crestmoor Neighborhood Reconstruction Phase 4 Street Improvement Project with Granite Rock Company in the amount of $9,771,221 and approving a construction budget of $10,750,000. Harry?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Excuse me. I'm Harry Burrowes, and I'm the city's project manager for the Crestmoor Reconstruction Project. Project before the City Council tonight is the last major piece of infrastructure replacement within the Crestmoor neighborhood. This project, the Phase 4 street improvements, involves the replacement of all of the sidewalks, driveways, curbs and gutters, new energy-efficient LED streetlight system with decorative poles and fixtures, and the replacement of the existing roadway within the public right-of-way within the neighborhood. The Phase 4 improvement project will replace all of the surface improvements, and by that I mean everything you can see above the ground. The previous projects to date have all involved utility replacement below the ground. In essence, this project, the Phase 4 project, coupled with the previous underground projects, is essentially building a subdivision, a typical subdivision backwards. Most subdivisions or housing developments, you put the infrastructure in first, the utilities, the streets, and then you build the homes. Upon the completion of the Crestmoor infrastructure reconstruction projects, we will have accomplished the complete replacement of the infrastructure within a fully built-out neighborhood. The one remaining project to be done beyond this Phase 4 project is the replacement of the Earl Glenview Park. That's currently in the conceptual planning stages. That project is expected to be completed in the fall of 2017. The overall Crestmoor infrastructure replacement project goes above and beyond any typical public works infrastructure replacement project in the city. The city made the decision early on to expand the basic replacement of the most damaged portions of the neighborhood. This level of infrastructure replacement, while extraordinary, responds to the unique circumstances of the Crestmoor neighborhood and fulfills the city's commitment to restore it to condition better than before the PG&E pipeline and gas pipeline explosion. In doing so, the city has ensured a consistent level of quality throughout the entire neighborhood. This is evidenced not only in the infrastructure itself, but also in the rebuilding of the homes in the neighborhood. The final design of this Phase 4 project was lengthy and involved much feedback and input from the community. As a result, this project incorporates traffic calming measures such as decorative colored paving in the intersections and crosswalks and edge striping. The city previously considered the inclusion of landscape bulb outs, traffic circles, and narrowed intersections, but these were ruled out due to public concerns over loss of parking, access, and maintenance cost. The design of this project was completed in early 2016, and the project was originally bid in April. Upon receipt of 2 bids at that time, the decision was made to re-advertise the project to obtain better bids and a better project. Subsequently, the project was rebid in late May, and bids were opened on July 12th of 2016. 3 very competitive bids were received, with Granite Rock Company determined to be the lowest responsible bidder at $9,771,221. The work involved in this project is very complex and will be extremely disruptive to the neighborhood. The public facilities being replaced are immediately adjacent to private improvements, such as decorative driveways, walks, landscaping, retaining walls, and other features. Additionally, the removal and replacement of the sidewalks and driveway approaches at each home will mean that for a minimum period of 24 hours, people will not be able to access their driveways. This contractor will provide alternate means for pedestrian access, but no cars can drive on the new concrete until it is set. The work is phased such that no more than 750 feet of sidewalk is removed at once and only on one side of the road. That's roughly equal to the length of about 15 homes. Resident parking during this time will need to be on the opposite side of the street or beyond the section of pavement being replaced. Communication with the neighborhood will be paramount during the construction. As such, frequent construction updates will be provided to the residents via emails, door hangers, flyers, and public construction progress meetings with city staff and contractor representatives. Although not yet scheduled with the contractor, We plan on holding a neighborhood meeting to discuss the upcoming work within the community sometime in mid to late August. As with the previous projects unique to the Crestmoor neighborhood, the project specifications included special conditions that outlined certain contractor expectations, including worker behavior and language, speeding, cell phone use, trash and litter cleanup, dust control, street sweeping, and traffic control. The contractor also had to sign a special acknowledgement recognizing the special circumstances of work within this neighborhood. The Crestmoor reconstruction has been more complicated and has taken longer than anticipated. However, with the commencement of this final major project, it's anticipated by this time next year, this Phase 4 project will be completed and the park construction will be starting starting shortly thereafter. This contract calls for a total of 185 working days, and that equates to about 8.5 calendar months. Assuming a construction start in early September, and barring significant weather delays, this contract should be completed by about June of 2017, next year. The project construction budget includes a total contingency of 10%, and that's for unanticipated construction items as well as materials and soils testing during construction. As with any public works project, staff will work with the contractor to seek potential means to minimize project costs. Staff is requesting that the City Council authorize the award of this contract with Granite Rock tonight, and we look forward to starting this work soon. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Good. Any questions for Harry at this time?
Yes.
Marty?
So Harry, when you first started, you said replacing the driveways. You're only really replacing the driveway approach. Driveway
Correct.
approach to the sidewalk.
That is correct.
Okay. Because then it'd be very, very expensive to do all the
Yes.
driveways. Then the other thing about the residents not being able to drive on their driveway, so it's going to be at least a couple days, right? You said 24 hours, and so the longer the better, but at least 3 days to get like to 75% strength. But the longer you can stay off your driveway, the better off it is. So it's not going to crack the driveway approach, and it's going to have a force on that. So
Yeah, that is correct. Although in this project, we did specify early set, high-strength concrete for the driveways.
can you provide a little bit of information on a delay with weather of how many weather days are you allowing for the project so that we don't get stuck with the stop work, or just letting people know how that works?
Well, I mean, typically on these projects, you know, we can't anticipate the future weather.
Right.
So what we do is every morning when we're out there at the beginning of the day, a determination is made. Typically the contractor will say, you know, it's too wet for me to work, and we'll make a determination of whether we believe or agree that he deserves a weather delay for that day. Again, we can't really anticipate at the beginning of the project what that will mean, because if you could do that, I would ask you who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Right, no, I just wanted to kind of just hear that. I mean, it is unfortunately, you know, starting in September, and, you know, that puts us right into the rain season, so depending on who you talk to, whether they want it to rain, and we do, but we don't want it to rain very much in big duration, or short, or heavy duration, heavy rainfall for a short duration, where it would create on the hills a lot of water coursing through, ruining the subgrade and duplicating work.
Correct.
The last part that I had, and help me if I'm calculating this wrong, but testing of materials, it's like $480,000 budgeted for materials. Does that include inspection?
That is correct.
Okay, so inspection of the materials for compaction testing, asphalt testing, concrete testing, and city
geotechnical and city inspection.
city
correct.
inspection. And it's a city inspector that is going to be assigned to this project? Are we needing an additional inspector?
So we will be assigning, I hesitate a little bit here because we haven't consulted with the Public Works Director, who's not here this evening, to make sure that for the duration of the project, and particularly at the times that it's necessary, that we will have available staff. But the intent is, to the maximum extent feasible, to deploy a city inspector as well as the inspector who is assigned full-time in the neighborhood under Harry's contract and has been active in inspecting projects that have been completed to date. So we're hopeful that with those two resources that we'll be able to manage the inspection aspects of the project.
Okay.
Anything else? Ken?
Through the chair. Harry, I want to wrap my head around this. Can you, for my benefit and for the benefit of the public, explain what the scope of the project is? Is it from San Bruno Avenue through the entire neighborhood all the way to Sneath? Every sidewalk, every curb, every driveway approach, every street light, and the street surface?
That is correct. And actually, in addition to that, it's the inclusion of a subdrain system, essentially the full length of every road, that will collect the subsurface drainage in that area and put it into the storm drain system, and the completion of the storm drain system in the neighborhood. The previous projects put the pipes in the ground, but we haven't built all the catch basins that collect the water coming off the street.
That's part of the curbs and gutters.
Correct.
Yeah. And you'll be doing that in about increments of 15 properties on one side of the street?
We'll be doing the replacement of the sidewalk and curb and gutter and driveway approaches in increments of about 15 properties, correct?
So to get this straight, to visualize this, I mean, it's $10 million, $10 million, I mean, for that entire neighborhood, and I think a lot of us know over 300 properties there. Seems like, a major undertaking, but you're going to take out first, I believe you're probably going to have to strip out the road surface, correct? And then cut out all, that's that whole section of 15 properties worth of sidewalk, curb and gutter, and all that. Reform it, pour it, and in the meantime, there's still going to be maybe a gravel road or a hard packed road, street surface.
If I may.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get people to visualize what they're
Absolutely.
going to be going
It's
through.
a very, very good question. And again, when we do a public works project, we can't tell the contractor how to do the work. We tell him what work that we want done, and we construct the plans and the specifications to help guide him into the way that we want him to construct the project. So how we envision this project going is, the first item of work, well, let me back up. We are limiting him to 750 foot, but we're not limiting him to only one location of 750 foot. He has to submit a phasing plan. He can do up to 6, right now we've got 6, but he may be able to do more depending on his proposal. At least 6 locations concurrently within the neighborhood. The idea is that we're not blocking off one portion of the neighborhood or obstructing traffic or access. We want to make sure that we maintain good continuity of traffic through the neighborhood at all times. So the first item of work we anticipate is that he'll come in those sections of 750 foot. He'll saw cut within the existing roadway about a foot off the curb and gutter. He'll then rip out all the concrete curb, gutter, and sidewalk and form the new one and pave it. So the existing roadway will stay in place. So people will still be driving on existing pavement. Once he completes all of the subdrain work and the replacement of the sidewalk in the entire neighborhood, that's when they'll come back and start doing the roadway construction. And what's specified in the contract currently is to do the cold-in-place recycling method of roadway reconstruction. So that does not involve tearing out the existing roadway in the conventional fashion, putting rock in and compacting the rock and having gravel out there. This is essentially a process where a machine comes in and, for lack of a better way of describing it, eats the asphalt, the roadway is in front, puts it in a batch plant, and out the rear end of the process puts down a new pavement surface. It won't be the final pavement surface. We'll come back and add 1.5 to 2.5 inches of final lift of paving, depending on the location within the neighborhood.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. That's very visual for me. Project features. Some of the hardscape as far as the, colored and stamped paving and everything, and crosswalks, is that just in the Earl, Glenview intersection areas, or is that throughout the neighborhood?
Currently, the plans show it throughout the entire neighborhood, so every intersection within the neighborhood will have the colored and stamped asphalt
Wow,
and
okay.
crosswalks.
Okay, great. And lastly, you spoke about storm drain. Has it been discussed, or would it be prudent to place under sidewalk pipes for residents to connect to? Currently, a lot of the properties have pipes that go, through the sidewalk or under the sidewalk, and then drain their stormwater, into the curb.
Yeah.
At the curb.
No, that's another excellent question. Actually, currently, the plans call for 374 through curb drains, one at each residence.
Oh.
So we have them included in the plans. There's some properties that don't have curb through drains. We're providing the location there so that in the future, if they want to hook up to it,
Right.
it's there.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else? Action?
I believe it's a resolution. I'd love to introduce the resolution.
Councilmember Ibera.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Rico Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Marty Medina.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.